at Pubkey in DC. Bitcoin's crashing to 85K. Nathan and I are back here yet again. We didn't think we'd be back again. We're starting to wonder if it's our fault Bitcoin's crashing.
Probably
but
is.
We're here. It might be our fault. But the important thing is that we're here and we're trying our best to live stream Bitcoin back into a positive territory. Although I will say I was just on Nostr and I just saw that Lynn Alden a year ago, this is going around now, but a year ago she had basically noted out on Nostr that, you know, like let me see if I can pull this up so I don't butcher her words. And see, she essentially has predicted the inverse 58K gang. So part of me hopes that we drop to 85K and chop around here for a few months and establish an 85K gang just for meme potential. That was on November 13th, 2024. Here we are just over a year later. And this is where we're at right now. So I don't know. Nathan, how you doing this evening? We're back again.
We're back again because the dip just keeps dipping, and it's getting a little bit crazy. But you know what? Like, famous last words. I think we're close to a bottom. Like, we might trickle down a little bit more. As much as I would love to hit 58K for all the fun memes, I don't think it's going to happen. A quick spike into the 70s, maybe, but I feel like it's just getting, like, you're looking at that greed and fear index, you're looking at RSI, you're looking at the short-term holders cost basis. It's like everything says like, okay, they've really been put through the ringer here. We at least got to take a break at this level, if nothing else. And it doesn't mean that things can't get worse because I want to get into it. But like, so the double duty for me today is 2 live streams today. Talking about it with Ben, I am convinced that this dip has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Just nothing to do with Bitcoin, which means whether we go back up or we go back down, again, is not based on like tech or adoption. It's completely outside of that. It's other market forces.
I mean, I think that I like that. That is fair. I think that Bitcoin is like kind of the, I don't know, not the canary in the coal mine. That gets used too often. It's just more so like Bitcoin is a super liquid market, right? And it's a 24/7, 365 liquid market. Like it doesn't have banking hours. It doesn't take holidays. It doesn't go offline. You know, like Solana or Ethereum or any of these other ones. It just keeps on going no matter what. And so it's like when people want to move to the perceived safety of cash, Bitcoin is a great way to do that, right? Yep. That being said, for hodlers, it can be quite painful. But Nathan, I feel like what we've been saying now, it's almost a week. We did our first one of these, I think,
last Friday.
It was on Friday, yeah, impromptu. Now we're back again. It's almost a week later. We're lower. We're 85K gang now.
Yep.
But Nathan, I remain bullish. I remain extremely, like I was like scraping together, like, like practically going through the couch to find pennies, except, pennies actually might be worth a little bit more these days, given that they're discontinuing the pennies.
They don't issue anymore. They're rare pennies.
So actually, if you can find some pennies in the couch cushions, you may be able to buy more sats than that penny's face value. So that's kind of amazing. A great example of when seigniorage, when you stop being able to extract seigniorage from creating money, that you just stop doing it. And that's why you see, that's why they stopped using coins in the first place and went to paper, because paper's a lot cheaper than coins. And that's why then they just go to keystrokes in the computer, because that is literally free. And they will get rid of that paper cash eventually. But again, we're at this stage where it feels a little bit like Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Where, again, every time Bitcoin takes a dip, out of the woodwork come the I told you so's. I'm so glad I didn't buy. The gold bugs and the fiat economists just dunking on Bitcoin as hard as they can. But amidst this, I think something beautiful emerges, because Bitcoin keeps attracting new people who were once skeptics. Like every skeptic eventually becomes a Bitcoiner, or they die old and poor. Like that's your two options. You eventually start stacking Bitcoin, or you die old and poor and maybe alone. I hope not, but like, boy, do you want to risk it? But somebody I saw, the finance guy who was he was
very
like
anti-Bitcoin, had like the most perfect avatar for his position too.
Yep, and like it was almost too much. Like it was almost just like a caricature, right?
Yes.
And I will say I dunked on this guy a lot, because he had some very, very dumb takes about Bitcoin. But just today, I had to give him credit, because he says, please don't delete all of the Bitcoin is crashing posts. I want to dunk on all of you dummies when Bitcoin hits 200K. And I'm like, wow, you've now converted a guy who was just one of those guys who was dunking on Bitcoin.
Yep.
Now converted him to somebody who's like, you're a dummy if you're not buying Bitcoin right now. I would have said a retard, but you know what? I appreciate that he's being a little bit more PC.
Yep.
He's still, once he gets down the rabbit hole further, he'll be throwing retards left and right. Like we'll get him down there eventually.
No, I completely agree. It's funny because I don't really know of anyone, like there's only one example I can think of someone who like was a Bitcoiner and then went the other way. And you can pull the no true Scotsman fallacy. It's like, okay, if you flipped the script, it's like you either didn't really buy into it or you didn't really get it. And that's probably true most of the case. The one example I can think of where they may have actually got Bitcoin, but it was purely just ego that got in the way was Nassim Taleb. Right, to write the forward for the Bitcoin standard, and then over COVID have that complete meltdown and freak out. And even at 85K, he still looks like a retard for what he did, selling everything that he had. But the only thing, and really this goes back to it's so true. Stay humble and stack sats. Why humble? Because Bitcoin isn't necessarily an intelligence test. I mean, there is that part of it. Like it is a lot of new information to grok, and you have to put in a bit of time and work. But more than anything, it's just a humility test. And ego will probably be the thing that stops most people from ever finding their way here. And I will disagree with you because I'm a disagreeable person. To me, I'm okay with the whole like dying poor and alone, because I really do believe that some people, the silver lining is that they set a negative example for behavior, right? It's kind of like somebody makes all the wrong choices. You don't necessarily want them to have a happy ending because it serves as kind of a life lesson of like, you don't want to be that guy.
Well, that's fair. It's the cautionary tale, right?
Exactly. Yes.
It's being able to hold something up to other people and be like, you see, this guy, like he had a chance, but instead of just spending 5 minutes actually like looking at Bitcoin in a serious way, he just decided, nope, I'm just going to keep on ridiculing it. But that's the thing. It's so interesting. Like now that I've been around for a couple of years, right? Still not too long, but like at least I've seen a cycle now.
It's funny that you still put that preface in because it's like been 5 years, Walker, going on.
I know, but
6.
But
it's
I feel
only
like
because
it's
because you're comparing yourself to your friends. I know
exactly, and I'm like, I haven't seen 2 cycles. I haven't seen 3. I haven't seen all the cycles. Like, so I'm just going by like the pattern recognition that I've picked up amidst this particular period of time. And what I have seen is that, man, when people start coming out of the woodwork and right when everybody is just so gleefully dunking on Bitcoin, just they couldn't be happier to be dunking on Bitcoin. That's just a huge signal. That just like sets everything. Because this feels like, although not quite as intense, it feels like what it felt like around like 19, 20K in 2022. And Bitcoin dipped a little bit more, went down to 16K. And then everybody was calling for, well, it's going to go to 12, 10, 5K. I'll buy it 5K.
Yeah.
And it didn't. And it proceeded to just go up month after month after month after month, like basically, essentially almost until it like hit the all-time high. And then now we're like going back down a bit, right?
Yep.
But the sentiment feels similar to that. It feels like people, the anti-Bitcoin folks are taking their victory laps. They're just, high-fiving each other. They're just having a blast. Bitcoiners are rage quitting and generally down in the dumps and apparently forgetting what they own. But I think the core group of just like truly psychopathic hodlers who do know what they own.
Yeah.
And like, our fellow plebs out here, it's like, you're just trying to stack as hard as you can right now. Like, and you're probably not stacking hard enough, but you're doing your best, right? You're trying.
I thought I was smart stacking yesterday. I should have waited.
I know. Carla literally said the same thing to me today. She's like, why didn't you just pause the DCA and then save all that and then smash buy it when it went down lower? And I'm like, well, dang it, honey, why didn't I think of that?
Shit.
I should have.
Buy low, sell high.
Yeah. Oh my God, I should have. And I'm giving her grief because I had said this to her exactly, and she laughed at that, ridiculousness of her own statement in retrospect. But it's like, that's right. Dang it, I should have just bought the bottom and sold the top, and then repeated over and over and over again, and then I would be richer than Michael Saylor. Like that. Why? Dang it. Maybe next time I'll just perfectly time the bottom and the top and everything.
Down.
I won't. Yeah. Buy low, sell high. No, it's buy all the time, sell never, but spend or sell if you need to. But like, don't sell when you're panicking. Like, sell to do something for yourself, to sell to do something for your life, sell to build something for your family, sell to build a business, sell to, be careful selling to get a house. So, if you can like take on as much fiat debt as you can to get that house, especially if they'll give it to you relatively cheap, because Bitcoin's going to outrun that. But also just do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not a fucking financial advisor. I'm a monetary advisor. Like, I'm telling you what the best money is. It happens to be Bitcoin. I'm not going to give you financial advice. You find somebody else for that. But like, the best advice ends up just being, just buy all the time.
Yep. Just
buy all the time, and you'll be okay. As long as you can wait, as long as you can weather these storms. And again, again, not an analyst, caveats all over the place. I haven't been around forever, but I just don't know if I would like a wick down to 58K. I've got a limit order set down there. I'll be honest. I would love to see that. I would love those cheap sats. I wish I had more fiat to deploy at it at 58K, but I don't know if we get down there. I don't know if, like, there's a lot, the market's a lot more, it's been operating more like a stable coin this whole year. Like, this feels volatile, but it's just like, we're just where we were like a year ago.
Yeah.
It's we went up to 126K, but like, we basically just haven't moved. This doesn't feel like a bull or a bear market to me yet. You know what I mean? It feels like something in between, because maybe this time is different. And I know that's a contentious subject, but maybe. I don't know. I just don't know. But I'm excited to find out.
It does feel a little bit different, but if nothing else, like, and people forget too, these cleansing moments need to have them. And you can tell me that that's hopium and cope, and maybe it kind of is, but going back to, like, it's the psychopathic hodlers that are going to keep stacking and form that new base, which is kind of like the old pattern, right? It's kind of rinse, repeat. You're going to have people, you're going to have kind of tourists coming through. You're also going to have people here that are just for the fiat gains and never pay attention to, Bitcoin plebs on Twitter or start following Bitcoin podcasts. And if you haven't followed some, you should start some too. They might not go through that transformation. It really just be like, yeah, my friend told me it was a good stock pick, and they got into it, and then this happens and they leave, right? Because they never had the conviction. But the conviction that you have in Bitcoiners is phenomenally stronger than, well, for sure, any other asset. That's why it has that religious fervor. That's why I get compared to a cult. And of course, cult being like part of the root word of culture as well. So that, like, it all goes together. This is not a bad thing, right? If the public sentiment and everybody is dunking on us, makes people nervous and gets them to leave, good, right? Good, because they were not the people that understood what they had yet. They had more research, more time to do. They were not necessarily. I really think you can't disentangle the kind of, at least some libertarian aspects, again, of separating state and money. They hadn't explored that avenue at all, and they didn't really understand why Bitcoin was going to continue to have value and hold value. But whenever they get all washed out, eventually there's no one left to sell, or no one left that will sell. And you're going to form that base again. And you're right, we're probably coming up on it quick. I was just taking a peek here, because you're right, the volatility does feel, it's nice to actually have some. It's nice to see something going on. That sideways crab is
feel a little tingle, like just feel something, anything,
To be surprised. Like, Ben told me earlier today we were at like 87K, and I was like, oh my God, we hit the 80s? Really? Like, I legit I'm so damn busy. I rarely actually check. I was like, oh, that was actually, it's like, okay, that was kind of nice. That was an interesting surprise in a weird way. But even just comparing, I was taking a look. So if I use the VIX as kind of like an indicator for volatility, yeah, the VIX ran up today, but it's nothing compared to what happened back in April. It's still like barely anything over the markets, even though it feels a lot more chaotic. And the other thing too, Walker, is like, honestly, like, make the case for me that's not fiat related. That's the key distinction, right? It's not just dependent on chaos in the fiat system, because ultimately in the end, that doesn't matter for Bitcoin at all. So what is the Bitcoin case that Bitcoin is going to go down? And I can't find one. Like, we were just talking before going live here. Like, Walker, who the hell was hanging out at Pubkey just today? You were muted.
This is so embarrassing.
That's why you need a co-host.
I know. This is, I was just, little guy, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent or however you're supposed to pronounce it. Just like not a big deal. Shout out to the guys at Pubkey for just creating amazing spaces. But yeah, like, just, not a big deal, guys. Just, just the Treasury Secretary hanging out with a bunch of plebs at Pubkey.
Yeah, the guy who issues
Bitcoin.
The U.S. government debt. The guy who issues the treasuries, basically, is the one hanging out with Bitcoiners. It really is. He's like, I'm gonna sell this, but you know what he's buying. Like you can't, like you could tell me that it's like there's no way that's even for midterms. You can't even tell me that's necessarily like a publicity stunt. To some extent, he wanted to be there, right? Like to some extent, he's curious or he's interested, and I know he's talked in the past too about there going to be a Bretton Woods 2.0 and him wanting to be involved with it. And I'm sorry, this is just like a very interesting signpost. On top of that, I'll see if I can find it and put it in the chat as well too. We had Tether. Tether bought $1 billion of Bitcoin. They sold Tether, which is what their product is, and bought Bitcoin. And those guys are unbelievably close to the money printer. They are literally one of the biggest buyers of short-term U.S. debt. And what are they doing right now? Stacking sats. Because they haven't lost any conviction in what's going to happen. The U.S. is going to sell them more debt. They're going to buy up more debt. They're going to get a nice little premium for issuing you with basically a casino token. And they're going to take those profits. And they have a tiny company, too. I think I remember hearing something was like 5 or 15 people run the entirety of Tether. Like, from a business standpoint, it's genius. It's like it's evil wild. Genius. Yeah. It's literally like getting, not like as close as you can, going beside the money printer, collecting a spread, and then putting that in Bitcoin.
Dude, and if you've met any of the Tether folks, I have not met all of them. I've met a good number of them. They're low-key like actual psychopathic Bitcoiners. Like yeah. It's kind of wild. I had my doubts, and I know a lot of people have a lot of strong feelings about Tether. But man, I've got to say, like, I think that they may yeah. I don't want to talk while they're in the belly of the Trojan horse, but boy, they're buying a lot of Bitcoin for a reason, and like they know what the writing on the wall is. And I think they are ultimately like, well, a lot of people, a lot of the shitcoiners and a lot of the fiat folks and the gold bugs want to claim that there's like a Tether Ponzi, and it's like it's not a Ponzi. It's just a very, very, very good business. Like it's a good business. People want stable coins, and Tether, what does it do with the profits? It rotates them into Bitcoin. Like. I really
don't think the Tether FUD is there. Yeah, like everyone talks about the Tether. I haven't heard that for like maybe a year or two now. But like
I know it's due for a comeback.
It's due for That'll be the next thing. We'll see that come out maybe in December here. We'll have some new Tether FUD going around because the Tether drops, Bitcoin drops. It's so goddamn ridiculous. But like there's no point. It's too much of like an easy pure play. It's like why screw with it? They're literally getting free money, so. They are the closest to finding the infinite money glitch, and they're just pushing that stream into Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It really is wild. And this is the thing, Nathan. And this is, I feel like, what we've talked about on these now legendary and recurring streams that we're doing this past week. But there's nothing bearish happening.
No. Besides
the price. Like there's a huge disconnect between what the price is doing and all of the things that are happening between. I didn't even see this Tether news today. Like and I'm not surprised because like they're just going to keep buying Bitcoin. They've been buying Bitcoin. They're going to continue. They're going to be one of the biggest, they're like the most profitable company like in the history of humanity. Like they're just going to keep getting bigger and keep buying more Bitcoin. Strategy bought whatever, just 8,000 Bitcoin, just like almost $1 billion bucks. Not a big deal. El Salvador, just like, 1,000 Bitcoin, like not a big deal. Sure. Did some OG whale just sell like 1.3 billion worth of Bitcoin? Yeah. And the OG whales are going to keep selling Bitcoin. Like the OG whales are not exhausted. They've got more Bitcoin than you and I can fucking comprehend.
You used to be able to get 5 Bitcoin for free every day. And I'm sure if you just use a VPN, you probably got to hit that faucet harder.
Yeah,
like just absolutely ridiculous, and that's an important thing. The other thing that I don't begrudge the OG whales, like absolutely. You're talking about earlier, like use it, spend it. It's supposed to be like it could be plans for the future. It could be emergency, right? You could have like a family emergency, an unexpected medical bill. You need a family car. It's like, don't feel bad about using your money, the best money, to shelter you from the unexpected in the future. That's the point of savings, is because we can't tell what's going to come. And so it's giving us comfort and a little bit of protection of the unknown in the future that might come about. And so for these guys that have unbelievable, unfathomable giant stacks of Bitcoin that they got for next to nothing or possibly even nothing, don't begrudge them for taking a lifestyle change and also distributing that to other people that they can then go use it. They know where it's going. It's gone there before. And don't forget too, like there is a point Like if I had that level of Bitcoin, at some point you probably become a little bit uncomfortable as well too, especially being like an individual, just from your own personal safety and well-being. Like that's a huge target to paint on your back. You might like to change it into something else, right? And I don't. Again, I'm sure they're not selling it all. I'm sure they got a giant stash for the grandkids and the great grandkids, and they have a legacy planned out as well. But maybe they'd like to pay for some additional security in a house that nobody knows about in like southern Italy.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whales, like if you see a whale selling, it's like they're selling the Bitcoin that has like been somehow, associated with them, with their identity. I guarantee you they have a bunch of Bitcoin, again, an unfathomably large amount that is not associated with their identity that they're going to hold on to. Because it's like, oh, okay, now I've got $1 billion in cash. Like I'm probably good on cash for a while. Like I think I'll be okay there, So it's like, yeah, and again, whales selling is good. Dispersion is good. You want Bitcoin to be as widely owned as possible. You don't want the ownership to be as centralized as possible. So this is a natural thing, but yeah, it's going to be painful in the meantime, guys. Again, if we go to 58K, which I don't even think we deserve, and I mean like it would be ultimately it would be a blessing for us to go to 58K. It would be a gift from on high. If we went to 58K, wow, it would be glorious because a lot of plebs who probably had a lot of, it's going to be really hard for most people to get to a full coin. Really, 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 really hard.
It's getting to the point where it'll be impossible soon for most people.
Even if you make a good amount of money, like it's hard. Like it's really hard at 126,000, at 200,000, at $500,000. That's going to be really fucking hard. But at 58K, that gives a lot more plebs a chance to stack those cheap sats. A lot more. And again, I don't know if we go down there, but if we do, boy, I don't even back the truck up. Sell the truck, like sell everything. Like do whatever you can. But also 85K is not bad. Like
it's really not.
It's weird seeing sats be this cheap. Like because for a while it was like this mental model of at 100K Bitcoin versus sats are like very easy. It's like nice kind of like round numbers. And at over 100K, it's like the numbers start looking really small. Like the sats that you're getting look really small with every Bitcoin purchase. Like $100 doesn't go as far as it used to, But now it's like, oh, whoa, I'm getting a bunch more sats. This is kind of nice. And again, guys, I know it sucks. Like to see the fiat value go down. But boy, you're gonna be kicking yourself. You're gonna be kicking yourself for not doing more when Bitcoin is down here. Like, and then you're gonna buy more when Bitcoin's breaking all-time highs again. And I will too, because I'm always a buyer. Like I'm always DCAing. But it's sure nice to hit some smash buys when it's low. And you should cherish these opportunities.
I completely agree. And even just like, you got to think about that information asymmetry. Like we're talking about, like, there's nothing bearish really in Bitcoin right now. There's nothing particular to Bitcoin that I find it all bearish. But even between us, like you didn't see that Tether thing, right? So most people don't understand Bitcoin. They don't understand the like huge significance from like a human industry pushing forward. Like this is a monetary revolution. They're not going to get that. They're not paying attention to the news. So they got no idea that Tether bought. They got no idea that Square is necessarily accepting it at their terminals. They don't know that MicroStrategy just bought or El Salvador just bought. They don't know that they have wonderful companies like Bull Bitcoin is just put out the most amazing app and is getting like Crux Wallet got support I saw here today. And they have a new recovery system to make it easier for plebs to onboard. You've got Nunchuck getting into Miniscript. Like we got Miniscript. Like they have no idea about all this additional tech and support and companies out there that are just building and building and building. And there is so much bullish news for Bitcoin, the asset, Bitcoin, the network. Nodes are going up. Life is good. They don't have a clue. All they look at is price, if anything. And so they're purely making the most emotional decisions based on price that is reflective of a market that has no idea what they're looking at and still doesn't, right? Sometimes you ever catch those, I can't think of any offhand, but you catch those clips of like someone on like a news broadcast explaining Bitcoin and they're so unbelievably wrong, but like the host and the audience has no clue. So that Gelman amnesia, and you're watching this going like, oh, okay, you guys are just completely full of shit. Nobody gets this. They really, really don't. People... The fact that we're at 85K and could maybe make a trip to 58K just proves how damn early you are. Because again, if everybody got it, you'd be screwed to get to a whole coin. You'd be absolutely screwed if 10% of the world's population understood it, you'd be screwed at this point.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. And the Gelman amnesia is such a the first time I read about that kind of phenomenon, I was just like, oh wow, this explains so damn much, like so much. It all makes sense now. And it is funny. Like I think Bitcoin makes you hyper aware of the existence of Gelman amnesia.
Yep.
Because you start to realize that, well, wait a minute. And for anyone that doesn't know, like the idea is you're reading a newspaper. This is where the original kind of like describing it comes from. You're reading a newspaper and you read an article about which you are, like, let's say, a subject matter expert. Let's say, you're a geologist, you read an article about some fucking rocks, and you're like, well, this article is full of inaccuracies and just like, that's outright wrong. The journalist clearly doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is just, this is slop. It's totally inaccurate. And then you flip the page and you are reading one about whatever it might be, cricket or I don't know, some sort of IPO or something in which you don't have expertise on. And you read it just having forgotten that the article you read in the previous page, the author had no fucking idea what you're talking about. But you only knew that because you were an expert in that field. You go and you read about something that you don't have any expertise in. And for some reason, we just kind of forget. And it's like, oh no, like most of the people who are talking, most of the news is just trash. Honestly.
It's just trash. Yep.
It's just purely trash. It's not to say there aren't good journalists, right? But most of the best journalists now are independent journalists. Yep. Like that, we've moved to, it's a different sort of world because people have started to realize that the legacy media, they're not mainstream anymore, they are legacy, that they're just trash. And so like when it comes to Bitcoin, it's like you realize this, or you see this phenomenon everywhere because you realize, oh, well, if they don't understand how fucking money works, like maybe they just don't, like, they don't understand how any of the things that are downstream of money works, which is like everything else, so that was a fascinating part of my journey down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, is just the realization that, like, oh fuck, everyone's just full of shit. Like, and every purported expert out there, and most of these journalists are just absolute trash. But hey, at least now it's like, who's the real mainstream? It's like, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, like, honestly, like Nick Fuentes. He's not even like niche anymore. He's,
oh my God, he's bigger than the mainstream.
He's massive.
They created a monster which is wonderful in the sense that it shows that I think the ability to censor is broken, at least to a large extent. In the sense, like, it's good things we still have Nostr and things like that as well. But they threw everything they could at, like, what, a 20-year-old kid, and they created a dragon they could not possibly slay. Now it's too far gone. He's got more power than they do.
Yeah, it's a great example of, like, another classic phenomenon, like the Streisand effect, right? Mm-hmm. Anytime you try to, like, shut something up, you try to hide something, like, you don't want them to see it. It's like, or especially if you try to shut someone up who is very, very good at talking, like, that's just not going to go well. That just feeds that fire, right? And so, yeah, bring it sort of back to Bitcoin is there's a massive dislocation here, guys. The mainstream media, especially a lot of the financial media, just okay, CNBC, let's give them some credit, right? Joe, God, why am I blanking his last name right now? Joe, dude, Kernan, yeah, he's awesome. That guy is super based, and I love watching his interviews with people because if they say anything stupid about Bitcoin, like, you can tell he's a maxi, and he'll just call it out and get this look in his face, and you're like, God damn, one of us, He was just recently at Pubkey in New York too. I saw.
There's something about that place, man. It's just magical. That might be a signal.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like noise. It feels like signal. And so here we are. Here we are on November 20th, 2025. Bitcoin's at $85,960 at the time of me uttering these words.
Yep.
And Nathan, I don't know if I've ever been more bullish. I truly don't know. Like, I'm less bullish when the price is ripping. Like, I'm more bullish right now when everyone else, or at least most people, seem to either be ignoring Bitcoin, have written it off, are gloating about its death, or are just, generally just still not even paying attention to it, which describes, like 98, 99% of people, right? And again, guys, if you come away with one thing, it's perhaps that means that there is a a mispriced opportunity. There is an opportunity for you who have a functioning brain and access to information that, granted, everybody should have access to, but they just don't pay attention to. You have an asymmetric advantage right now. You should probably take it, but do whatever you want. It's not, do whatever the fuck you want with your money. But man, I am bullish, Nathan. I am bullish.
Dude, I'm right with you. I'm extremely bullish. So that doesn't mean so if I'm going to make, it's not a price prediction. What I think is going to end up happening here, and we'll see, because what I think is going to happen is probably not what's going to happen. But I think we're going to see a little bit of a slingshot. This in no way feels to me like we're going into like another Bitcoin winter. I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be like a year and a half of like grinding slowly downwards and then rocketing back up eventually and waiting for the halving. I don't think that's what's at play at all. I really do think that the broader global economy has completely synchronized and that things are going to get worse. However, it may not even necessarily get that bad before they start just trying to paper over the crap out of it. So if like everything's kind of going the opposite of what you expect. So September, we expected to be down. It was up. October, down. November, down. I think December will be down too. But I kind of think this is going to be, maybe 6 months, maybe 4, something like that. Like I would expect a little mini bear market, and you can think of it as just like loading the slingshot, and we just pulling back, just drawing back, getting rid of everybody who doesn't necessarily have conviction or know what they has or is here. If you can be shaken out because of social sentiment, because somebody on Twitter was dunking on you, you did not read enough, you did not watch enough Bitcoin podcasts. Do better. And I think ultimately what's going to end up happening is that as things continue to grind lower and lower and slower and slower, the money printer is going to light up like you wouldn't believe. We got a new Fed chair coming in May. All signs are pointing to weakness in Canada, in the US, in Europe, absolutely everywhere. We're all looking at Japan right now. They're about to have intervention on their like just crashing currency, right? All the money spigots. I was talking with Ben earlier about this today, that all the fiat kind of money spigots, the places that would come in and prop up the stock market and by effect run into Bitcoin as well too, they've all been kind of shut off or drained. They're gonna get those fiat taps rocketing again. You might just have to wait a couple months. But I wouldn't, famous last words, I would not be surprised to see us well above 200K at the end of next year. I would also not be surprised to see us hang out at 70 in kind of like January, February. And then once that printer warms up, I think QE is back on the books. I think from a productivity standpoint, things are really bad. I think you're going to see basically the same, like a mini version of what happened post-COVID. I think we're going to look at the same sort of thing. You're going to look back at this 85K and go, oh, no, you're not. If you're listening to this, you're going to look back at this 85K and go, fuck yeah, I was right.
Yeah, and I think it is like I see sometimes Bitcoiners be like, well, why are you talking about like the Fed, or like fuck the Fed? I thought we were trying to end it. Why are we talking? But it's like, well, because it does still matter, right? Like it matters what the Fed does. It doesn't matter from the perspective of what Bitcoin is. It doesn't change anything about Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin is separated, like money separated from state, right? Separated from central banks. But what the Fed does has a big impact on your life. It shouldn't, but it does, because they control the price of money, because we don't live in a free market. So like actually, like if you pay attention to anything, like if you're gonna spend your time watching sports, like you should at least spend a little bit of time watching the Fed, because they have the most massive outsized impact that any unelected group of fucking banker bureaucrats could possibly have. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. We're going into there's midterms next year, right?
Yeah.
Like, at least in the U.S. I don't know how about old Canada and everywhere else, but generally cycles line up. I think even if you've got a parliament or whatever the fuck is going on.
We technically have a king, which made that no kings protest absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Did you guys have the no kings protest up there too?
We had no kings protest for Trump. We literally have a king. Technically, the King of England rules Canada. It was the dumbest fucking thing.
Holy shit.
These NPCs are just unsalvageable. And I just want to quickly throw in there, because I had this terrible analogy pop into my head talking about like the Fed and these things too. It's kind of like this monetary battle is kind of like Highlander. Like you get to absorb the power of everybody else. So why do we care from a Bitcoin standpoint? Because we're absorbing all the purchasing power of everybody else. But Bitcoin is kind of this peaceful, non-violent Highlander that's just winning by watching everybody else bleed out. And all I'm telling you is that the blood flow is going to speed up. That's basically it, right? Bitcoin isn't really aggressively killing the Fed or fiat. it's just absorbing their power and watching them bleed, watching them kill themselves. The QE, the flood of money that's coming. My God, the like. Again, I ranted about this earlier today. The $2,000 like investment account for every like child born in America, like that is literally them killing themselves trying to save themselves, and it's so dirty. It's so dirty because it comes across like, oh, we just care about you. We're trying to help you. It's the same thing they did in GME when they removed the sell button. They're literally be like, you can have money, you can't put it towards what you need most, right? You can't use it for food or shelter or paying off debt. No, fuck that. You can have money, and the only thing you can do with it is buy our friends equity. Like, fuck off.
I mean, it's literally just creating another backstop for Wall Street, right?
That's all it is. Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like, okay, where does the money come from to buy that? Like, you know, I'll tell you,
you can ask the guy at Pubkey.
Yeah, Bessent is the one who was on whatever, you know, I mean, multiple different news programs talking about this. And one of the things that I thought was just so ironic about this, and like, shout out to Bessent for being at Pubkey, but like, I'm not going to also fawn over you just because you're a politician who's hanging out with Bitcoiners. Like, you know, that's cool that you're there. I would love to have a beer with you. Seemed like a cool guy. You said you'd punch Bill Pulte in the fucking face. Thought that was hilarious, right?
Great.
Like, good for you, man. Like, we need more of that, like fuck you, Bill Pulte energy, you know? But the point being, he said something in that conversation where to the effect of, you know, oh, look what happened in New York. Like, young people are voting for socialists and da-da-da. So clearly they don't have a lot of hope for the future. And it's like, hold on. So your antidote to young people turning to socialism is to give them free money, like a socialist.
Yeah.
I mean, come the fuck on. Like, you don't see that that's just, first of all, like, just stupid. And second of all, incredibly contradictory. And third of all, no way it's not like inflationary. But honestly, like, at this point, it's like, who fucking cares? You know, like, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And I don't know. This generally giving people free money at birth that unlocks when they're 18 does not generally work well. Like, it doesn't, giving people free money, period, doesn't work well. Like, if it did, like, there would be like no hunger, and there, you know, most of Africa wouldn't still be like, you know, several generations behind technologically. Like we give out free money all the time to people all over the world. Turns out that doesn't actually like help things. We do that all the time to people in America and in certainly in Canada and in the fucking UK and everywhere else. Like, this is not singling out any one area. Everywhere this is done, it doesn't actually help anyone. Like, that doesn't do anything positive. Let's be honest, what are you doing? You're buying votes. Like, you're buying votes. You're trying to please the citizens of the country
and the corporate overlords.
And the corporate overlords. Like, that's great. You know, S&P 500's got a nice backstop now. Like, it's okay. Everyone that's born is buying $2,000 worth. Like, wow, amazing. Like,
propping up the boomers' equity again. Propping up the boomers' equity again.
Exactly. Oh, and it's conveniently locked up like until you're 18. You know, and it's just all of these things.
Fuck.
Yeah, like, it's just like all of this feels like these, like, just grasping, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just grasping for anything that's going to, I don't know, distract from anything else that's happening. Like, you know, anything that's going to distract from a bunch of names getting scrubbed from the Epstein files, or, you know, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's going to be interesting. Like, did you see, you know, our speaker, Mike Johnson, who basically said prior to, because apparently Trump signed this.
Yep,
it's gonna.
I saw that earlier today.
It's gonna actually, okay. So let's see what happens. Should be quite interesting. But he basically said, "Oh, I don't think these should be released." Basically, like, because it would be very damaging to our political system. And it's like,
the confession there, right? The absolute confession there. Which I got to jump back on this too. Just talking about the money at 18. There's a direct example that we have here in Canada that on some of the reserves, the kids get a large payout when they hit 18. And Walker, I don't know if you remember what you were like at 18, but I was pretty fucking dumb at 18. And so what you end up seeing, it's really tragic, right? Like, I really, really, really despise the reserve system here in Canada for a number of reasons. But you'd see these brand new trucks that end up getting wrecked or totaled, right? The money was just gone. So not only are they forcing them to prop up the stock market and giving away free money. But then they're also unlocking it when you're legally adult, but probably at your dumbest consumer point. So it's just going to go into consumerism. It's not like they're going to take that and like, oh, I'm going to hang on to this for longer or continue to invest in it because this stock did really well. They're not going to take that money and plan for their future. So you get to prop up the stock market, and then you get to just have this flood of cash spending when it hits 18. It will in no way improve their future.
I actually, it's funny that you bring that up. It's the first example I thought of. But I was like, you know what? Maybe don't bring that one up. Like, people might get confused by it. So I'm glad that you did, because we have the same thing in America. And I grew up 5 minutes, and I grew up 5 minutes away from a massive Native American reservation.
Yeah, me too.
So so you know this, and like, you know, I had a lot of Native friends. You know, just so people know that.
I married one. I made more. So come at me. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, wife's Native.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, so you can actually say, oh, thank God.
No,
okay.
it's there's a small
I really
chance
did have a lot of
I might get
I really
some
did have
free
a lot of
land
Native
out of
friends,
this.
though, guys. Just so you know, just so you guys know, like, but they did all buy Cadillacs when they turned 18.
Mm-hmm.
And
not a ton of it.
Cadillacs were a lot cheaper back then. Also, that's how you could buy a Cadillac with like the, you know, I don't know, it was like in the 20s of thousands of dollars worth, I think, at that point.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing like 40. It was Canadian, so I remember hearing like 45 or 50. So probably about the same.
But again, like, it just doesn't work. And I think the thought, let me hope that the thought behind it in both of these cases, right? Whether it be like basically giving reparations for, you know, basically exterminating a population and shipping them off to reservations, which was undeniably like a, you know, like that's a rough thing, right? There's like no way around that, right? Granted, human beings have been doing that to each other since time immemorial. So, but at least this time we tried to make amends for it. It just doesn't work. Like, it doesn't actually help anyone. Like, giving people that kind of money, I don't care who you are. It's just, it's not helpful. Especially if you, again, I think to your point, like, you don't know what to do with it. It's not like if they said, and we're going to accompany this with mandatory financial and monetary education throughout K through 12 in school, from the time you entered the public school system, we're going to start teaching you about how the Fed prints money out of thin air. And that's why you need to invest in these assets, because you can't just hold money, kid. Like, you know, you can't just have a savings account or a CD. Who remembers CDs, right? You know?
Oh my God, I love them. I remember being in high school or junior high, having my Walkman, and I got the one that had like the 45 seconds and it wouldn't skip. And I'd have that one album that was only 45 minutes long and play it for like 8 hours all day on repeat. And I was totally fine with that, right? That was amazing.
To clarify, I meant CDs like at a bank.
Oh my God. I got completely distracted by the music. I was like, oh my God, I love CDs.
Yeah, no. I was like, wow, you were super passionate about CDs. But the point being, like, they're not going to do that. Like, they can't teach people how money works. This is just some like weird form of, you know, corporate socialism. Like, it's going to backstop the S&P 500. Because that's like what they're going to presumably put it into. I forget if they gave specific details, but that's what they're going to put it into, right? Something nice and safe. Maybe some government bonds too, so that you can, you know, hold a piece of America's
the government
future.
Money. They can print it. But you can loan it to them.
Yeah, right. And it's like, guys, you're just giving out free money. Yeah. Like, that's like what socialists and communists promise to do. Like, I mean, you're not saying tax the rich. You're just saying, like, I guess, like, print the money, which is, so basically you're just like MMTers, you know, like you've just kind of like gone that other direction, which is like, it's cool. We have as much money as we need, guys. We just create it. And so it's cool. Like, everyone can be rich because we'll just create as much money as we need, and then everything will be fixed. There's an incredible Dan Aykroyd skit from SNL in like, I mean, it was like 40 years ago or whatever. I think it was in the 80s. And the whole thing is he's pretending to be President Jimmy Carter. And the premise of the skit is basically just him sitting behind the desk, and he's hilarious. But he's like, it's okay. Like, you know, we'll just print the money we need and everyone's going to be a millionaire. Like, sure, you know, like a cigar will cost $100, but like, that's okay. Like, you know, like, and it's like, shit, we just literally are doing that. Like, that's the world we live in now.
Cigars literally cost like $100. That
I know.
Exists.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Parody becomes reality. It's nuts though to me that this is the kind of stuff that we see happening. That you see, I mean, between that, the stimmy checks, and like a 50-year mortgage.
I was gonna say,
like, it's all just like, boy, this feels just late stage empire vibes. But at least what gives me hope, because I love my country, I do. I love America. handle is fucking Walker America, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I want America to succeed and continue to be the best country in the world, which I believe that it is right now. I'm excluding Switzerland.
And I say that kind of unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm excluding Switzerland from this because while like they're probably the only true first world country, they're only like 10 million people. So like, guys, we're dealing on a different scale here, but man, the Swiss got it figured out. They got it fucking figured out.
Last one to go off the gold standard too. And they got bullied into doing it.
Yep. No, I mean, honestly, like Switzerland's incredible. The Swiss people are incredible. Their canton system is amazing. It's all pretty cool. They got a lot of guns there too. Like it's like, fuck yeah.
Because they have mandatory military service, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So everyone's shot a gun.
They've got all these guns, but people aren't just murdering each other willy-nilly, which is super weird. So it's almost like there's some other cause for people killing each other. It's almost like it's not the guns. It's weird because like in the UK, they don't have guns, but for some reason, people just get stabbed all the time. It's
all the time. But don't worry, they're proposing that you can't have pointy knives anymore.
Jesus, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm not even making that up.
I literally thought that was like some like a Babylon Bee type thing. Like, you know, like UK, like passes a bill to get rid of tips on knives to stop stabbings or something. Like it just feels like it's a Babylon Bee thing. But it's like, no, that's just the clown world that we live in. The clown world that we live in is we can't even have knives anymore. We can in America. Sorry, British people or United Kingdom people, whatever. I don't know if you're allowed to say British anymore. Even that might be.
They're subjects, I suppose, but I guess I am one too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A vassal state of sorts. But it's like, man, everything is so fucking absurd.
Yep.
Like it is so ridiculous to the point of being just unbelievable. But it is believable because it's happening. It's happening all over. You see in Germany, there was a guy that was just police like burst into his home. Let's see, I can find this quick. They burst into his home because he basically said that the government workers are wait, I found it. Actually, I had it pulled up from before. Let me pull this up here again on screen because this is just truly insane.
He basically quoted Rand, is what it is.
Yeah. So okay. So here this is. So Mike Benz, who's a solid follow when it comes to like just keeping track of this kind of stuff. For this post on X in Germany, police raided the poster's home, seized his phone, took his biometrics, insane, demanded his DNA, and warned he's now under police surveillance. And the post was, no, every person who is financed by the state pays no net taxes. They live off taxes. Every civil servant, every politician, every employee in a state-owned company, everyone who is subsidized and financed by the state. Not a single parasite pays any net taxes, which is, of course, objectively true. That's an objectively true statement. If you if you are receiving your salary from the state and then you pay taxes with that salary, you haven't, like, you're just paying taxes with taxes.
Which is such a psyop too. It's just to create the illusion like, no, we're just like the private sector. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
But you're literally just paying taxes with other people's taxes.
Yep.
Like, it's just so fucking stupid. Literally, like police raided his home. Only a few hundred views later, apparently. It didn't take very long. Raided his home, seized his phone, took biometrics, demanded DNA, warned. Like, this is insanity. See, I mean, between this and the UK, they love doing this kind of stuff too, apparently, because they don't actually have free speech in the UK, which is why they're all so good at being like really sarcastic, because they can always be like, "Oh no, it was just a joke, mate." You know, like, "No, it's okay. I wasn't being serious. I was just taking the piss." You know, everything is so fucking absurd.
Yep.
But at least Bitcoin exists.
Mm-hmm.
At least Bitcoin, at least we have, amidst all this fucking insanity, at least we have this little sliver of just straightforward, no nonsense, rational, logical code.
Yep.
That happens to happens to be worth, be a $2 trillion asset right now, and will continue. I guess actually now a bit less than 2 trillion since we're down here. I know. Truly unbelievable. But that's one of the reasons that I think Bitcoiners, although they are so aware, like Bitcoiners are hyper aware because we tend to be pretty hyper online. We tend to have gone down a lot of different rabbit holes, many of them, conspiracies and everything, and it turned out not to be conspiracies.
Mm-hmm.
But we're hyper aware. We are are really curious. We want to understand how shit works because we've now understood that everything we thought we knew about money was a lie. So like, what else is a lie? And with everything we know, we've seen how the sausage is made, but we're still incredibly optimistic. Like, how is that possible? How is it possible to be so optimistic? For a group of people to be so optimistic, even though they know all of the fucked up shit that is going on in this world. And like, they know it at a very deep level because they understand like how deep the rot goes. Well, it's because we actually have a solution. Like, we have something to be hopeful about. And I think with all the nihilism, what Bessent is ultimately getting at, which is a very fair statement, and I agree with him on this. I just disagree with the solution of giving out free money.
Yeah.
Because I fundamentally disagree with that. I don't care who suggests it. I disagree with canceling student loans as well. And I disagree with stimulus checks, period. Like, I disagree with bailing out banks too. Like, let's not do that anymore. But what he's getting at is like, people vote for socialists when they've lost hope because the system has failed them. The system is broken. The system is full of perverse incentives. And so, yeah, that pendulum swings back towards socialism, communism. The totalitarian temptation is very, very strong. It never ends well. Usually ends in, so far it killed like a couple 100 million people. So I guess like
the most. It's basically the state is responsible for the most possible deaths that have ever happened.
But maybe they'll get it right this time. Maybe New York will turn into a beautiful communist utopia. I would love to see it. But Bessent is right that like, when younger generations don't have hope, they turn to these fucking retarded ideas.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to be getting Bitcoin in front of as many young people as possible, because they will be able to understand it much easier than the fucking gold bug boomers, right? Like, if a gold bug boomer can grok Bitcoin, I guarantee a Gen Z kid can, right? And they're not even kids anymore. Now they're adults. Like, they're in the workforce now, and they're like, fuck, what's going on?
Yeah, dude.
But they need hope.
Like, what is it? 2000 people born in 2004 can drink, right, in the U.S. Like, that's just insane.
Oh,
right? Yes.
Oh,
right? Doesn't that hurt a little bit?
In Canada? What's your drinking age in Canada?
It kind of alternates between provinces. So in Alberta here, it's 18, but it goes like 19, 18, 19, 18, kind of all the way across. It's funny. It's amazing to me because you're right. There's that Bitcoiner need for consistency. Like, if we be like, oh, if it's bad here, it's bad there, but that's not a universal. Like, hardly. It seems like it's not even the majority of people. But speaking to the hope, it's because really there's only one of two paths forward, and they they both have their struggles to go through. And I think that the first one kind of more likely is that. I don't think that Bitcoin is going to save the existing system, which is why we talk about where things are ultimately going. But the reason that we have optimism is because for the first time ever, it's not going to repeat. Like, this is going to be the last time we necessarily have a complete civilizational collapse because we debase the currency, because we do that every single fucking time, because humans going to human, greed going to take over. We're going to want to have control over things that we should never have control over. And it's the first time that we're stripping ourselves of that power, right? There is the chance that, at least to some extent, and I'd be curious to know what you think in terms of, like, because there's the idea of America and the ideals of America, and then what it might be going forward. If you think it will stay a cohesive country, I very much could see a return to something much more akin to like the original idea of like independent states, but kind of working together maybe on some sort of projects. But we're also entering a very interesting phase. We've been talking about like Scott Bessent, thinking about how, okay, this guy, he's pretty good on some things, and he says some stuff that we like, but ultimately still he's giving out the money, right? He's still gonna hit money printer burr. He's still gonna throw the funds out there. But we're approaching the point where, as millennials are getting older, and some Gen X as well too, right? We're entering these higher positions of power in the existing structure. There may not have been many yet. I guess Bukele kind of is one as well too. You're going to have a based as fuck Bitcoiner start to enter incredibly powerful positions and might actually act on those underlying beliefs that no one's necessarily aware of. It kind of reminds me of like Fight Club. Like, we are everywhere and you don't know who we are. And so we're getting to that point as millennials age into those positions that we're going to start to slip in. So there is a chance that some aspects of it might be able to be salvaged, or that we'll just have a major seat at the table in terms of rebuilding what, next system looks like after this fourth turning, after we go through things. But we have the reason to be optimistic because, again, Bitcoiners are rising not only in their purchasing power, but in their social influence and also their kind of power within existing structures. And we have the solution, which means even if this is catastrophic as it already is with your blunted knives and you can't say mean things in the UK, even if it gets worse, which it will, we don't have to repeat this again. So the optimism honestly isn't for us, it's for our kids, which is also where I think that pro-natalism comes from in Bitcoiners. Because I think there is that, like, if you're here and you've gone down this rabbit hole far enough, you know that you've got a hell of a battle in front of you, and you'll survive it, and you'll come out better on the other side. But it really is like we're ensuring that we don't repeat these mistakes. We set up the better system, and it's for the lineage. It's for the legacy. I mean, on the last live stream we did, you commented that you didn't want a statue honoring you, but I absolutely fucking do. I'm going to have a giant statue on, like, I don't know, we'll take over Martha's Vineyards. That'll become like Bitcoin area. And I'm going to have a nice big bronze statue where all the great grandkids can go up and, I don't know, just say thank you.
It would be pretty sweet to have a statue, I guess. You know,
right?
Like, do you want the statue still while you're alive, or do you want it like after you're gone? Like,
no, I gotta be dead.
See your own statue?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't want any influence on it. I feel like that'll be like at the funeral, right? It'll be like they'll be lowering me into the ground beneath my statue. And then everyone, because we spend so much time Bitcoin podcasting too, you're basically going to have AI me there. And so you can literally go and visit like great grandpa Nathan's statue and ask him crazy questions.
There's like a golden, like, first of all, the statue is all gold because gold has been demonetized.
It's
so
demonetized.
You can build like an entire golden statue super inexpensively because it's just back to its utility value, right?
Yep.
Gold's just down to the marginal cost of production, no monetary premium on it whatsoever. So you've got a giant statue of yourself, and it's like you're at the podcaster's desk, you know, and there's and so you're sitting there, you know, you're leaning in.
Oh, you got like two chairs and a mic.
Yeah, and there's and then the other one's just another golden chair and a golden microphone, but like it actually works, and you can converse with AI. You might get a little bit dark and kind of Black Mirror-ish, but at least the statue will be all gold, which will be kind of cool, right? Like, I just so excited to be able to build golden statues so inexpensively, like really for next to nothing. Like it's going to be incredible. Peter Schiff's going to be very sad, but he'll have been gone for a long time. So like, you know, tough titties.
That's okay. He would have really liked it. I also got to hit this comment. There's a comment in the chat from Christopher Barber, 1469. Is there a Bitcoiner handshake or something? And funny enough, this only happened to me once, and it's bad OPSEC, but it is still helpful, right? It's not necessarily the worst idea to have some kind of Bitcoin icon on you if you want to show that, if you want to flash at the people, if you want to set up a signal. Like, so for example, if you got an office that's somewhat public facing of people coming through, grab a block clock. You put that on the back shelf. Any Bitcoiner's going to know exactly what it is when you walk in. The only time outside of a conference, and it was actually at a conference, but not a Bitcoin conference, that I ever found other Bitcoiners in the wild was I just happened to be at like my booth, and I looked over at somebody else's, and I just caught the orange sticker on their laptop, and I immediately went up and started talking to them. And again, just immediate fast friends, and like right down that rabbit hole. So there's no handshake necessarily that I know of, but like, I don't know, grab a Madex hoodie or something, or just throw even that little orange sticker on your laptop or your bag. Again, it isn't necessarily good OPSEC, but if you want to flag Bitcoiners in the wild, you can throw it on a notebook, something. Give them a little orange glow, and if there's any nearby, they will spot it and they will flock to you.
It is true. Like you can't, as a Bitcoiner, you can't help but notice those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you happen to see one, because it's like, oh, mainly because it's so rare too.
That's
like
exactly it. Yeah.
You would see somebody else either wearing any kind of, or having any sort of Bitcoin iconography on their person is just like, oh, shit, like, are you real? Like, you a spook? Like, am I walking into a trap right now? Yep. Maybe. A lot of spooks out there.
I got spotted by my hat once at a rodeo.
Did you?
I happened to know the guy. I actually met him at a conference before, but he only caught my hat. Yeah.
There you go. And honestly, yeah, it's like, there's probably going to be a period where it will be maybe a bit dangerous to wear any sort of Bitcoin stuff out and about. Like, we're not quite there yet, you know, but at a certain point, in the midst of this fourth turning, things may get a bit ugly. But then, I mean, you know, like some years later, it's like, it's not going to be a big deal because it'd be like, okay, it's like, you know, you're wearing a shirt that says like internet on it. Like, and it's just be like, yeah, okay, like, kind of cool hipster shirt there, man. Like, but like, you know, what's the big deal? But we're a long ways away from that. We're a long ways away from that because we're languishing down at 85. Let's see, are we? Yep, still in the 85s. Yep, still in the 85s. Everyone is bearish except for anyone listening to this stream right now.
That's right.
I think that if you're listening to this stream, I hope that you are bullish. I hope that you have hope. Like, because I'm sitting here right now with Nathan. This is now 3 of these now we've done.
Three of these, like, you want to go live? Yeah, let's go live.
Yeah, okay, let's do a bunch of other work we should do. But yeah, you know, that's okay. Just sleep is for later. Sleep is
Yep.
for later.
This is the accumulation. This is the building phase. I'll sleep later, and I'll sleep really well.
Yes, and that's and with young kids, it's like you got an alarm clock in the morning anyway, so like it's good. Like you're waking up no matter what. There's no way around that. But I think my hope would be is that I wish, I don't know if it's Bitcoiners not being great at this or just the nature of people generally or algorithmic suppression, but I wish at times like this when Bitcoin was dumping, you'd be able to more easily reach outside the echo chamber. You know this as somebody who creates content. Like you've got a lot of really awesome diehard Bitcoiners who, and I'm so grateful for them. I'm so grateful for everybody listening and watching this right now. Like, thank you for being here. It means a ton. And Nathan, I know you feel the same. Like it's awesome when people share their time with you. But man, it's hard to reach outside that echo chamber. It's really hard because there's just so much junk out there. There's so much shit. And like, this is why, you've also got so many just like paid shills for various shit coins that end up like, if anything reaches outside the echo chamber, it's like, it's them, it's not like boring old Bitcoin, which is the thing that's actually going to liberate these people and the thing they actually need. But instead they go and, fuck around with some shit coin that some influencer got paid to shill to them. And it's like, God dang it. But I don't know what, I love the work that the Get Base team is doing. Yep. I think Julian, Isabella, and Adam, they're doing amazing stuff. Julian's new show, The Exit Manual, is blowing up. I think it went to like 20K subs. Like
dude, he's killing it. He does a wonderful job editing. It's outstanding. It's an extremely, and I mean this in a good way, like consumable content. It's really easy to consume.
Yes, like that stuff does like a very good job of getting outside the echo chamber. I think he's found, or like he's struck a nerve there. Something is really working there. But man, it's still just hard. Like it's still hard. And some of it, sometimes reaching outside the echo chamber is as simple as just somebody who's watching a show and, you like, just you sending a podcast to your, quote, normie friend who you've been trying to orange pill for a while. And you never know what podcast is going to particularly resonate. Like I had somebody tell this the other day that they sent a series of my podcast that I did, and it finally was like the thing that tipped their friend over the scale. They've been trying to orange pill for a while. It's like that, hearing that is just like, fuck yeah. Amazing. Because you never know what's going to tip it for any individual person, right? You never know. It's different for all of us. Like, but boy, again, even people who are aware right now. So it's like, just because you build it doesn't mean they're going to come. Just because you can tell them over and over and over again. But again, guys, if you are listening to this, this is just to reemphasize that you have an incredibly outsized opportunity right now.
Agreed.
If you have any sort of fiat left, and if you don't, because that's the problem that I'm running into right now. It's like, boy, it's like dry powder. I haven't heard of it. I'm not familiar. But because that's my problem. I guess I'm constantly so bullish that I want to buy more Bitcoin. Right now, I just happen to be like very, very bullish, and so I'm scrounging. I'm going to find some of those new rare pennies they got because they're not making any more. See what I can do with those. But yeah, we're at an incredible time. Everything is bullish for Bitcoin right now, except the price. And like some defeatist little pansies on X who want to whine and will end up rage quitting soon anyway. And I would maybe, and we should probably, how long have we been going? We've been going for an hour. We'll keep this one short today. We'll start to wrap things up. What I will say maybe is just, I encourage you to be optimistic. I encourage you to be hopeful. I encourage you to think deeply about Bitcoin and what it is going to do for the world. I encourage you to not be sucked in by these defeatist narratives about Bitcoin is dead or Bitcoin is doomed or Bitcoin is captured or Bitcoin is whatever. Bitcoin's going to be okay. Like it's going to be okay. And that doesn't mean that we should be complacent. I think we should be incredibly vigilant. I think we should be incredibly vigilant about the external forces that are operating, right? I think you should be very wary of those and practice constant vigilance. But you don't have to be a fucking defeatist. You don't have to be all, you don't have to be a sad boy. You don't have to rage quit because things aren't going your way. Remember what you own. and use it as money. Like make on-chain transactions, send and receive Bitcoin. Spend Bitcoin on goods and services wherever you can. Zap Bitcoin on Nostr. Actually use Bitcoin, because I find that the more I actually use Bitcoin as money, and yes, just holding it, using it as a store of value, that is still using it, guys. I'm not trying to rag on you if that's all you do. That's perfectly fine. You're still using it as money. You're using it as money in one way, though.
Yep.
Because one of the other ways is you use it as a medium of exchange. One of the other ways is you use it as a unit of account. You really shift your mindset to actually denominate your time and your energy and the value you create, denominate it in Bitcoin, because it's the only thing that makes sense, right? Everything else is a stretchy yardstick or meter stick. Is that what people call them that aren't in America? I don't know.
You know what's
anyway.
so stupid is that we're metric, but like if you ask somebody how tall they are, they'll still be like, "Oh yeah, I'm 5'11".
Really?
Yeah, like it's weird. It's like we're technically metric, but you'll see imperial trickle into things. Like it's just a leftover almost like a vestigial limb.
I mean, you still have a king, I guess. So like that's
We still have a king. We haven't evolved that far.
Not the only thing that's left over there. But yeah, I would just I'll give you a chance here in a second. But I would just say, be hopeful, guys. Be optimistic. When you are given chances to stack more Bitcoin than you could the day before, using the same amount of fiat, that's a good day. It's a really good day. Take advantage of it, because there will come a time where you will look back and you will say, either, shit, I should have been stacking way fucking harder. I can't believe I didn't see what was happening. Or, wow, I did everything I could. I did everything I could to set up myself or my family. If you have a family, or if you want to build a family, boy, Bitcoin's going to be one of the only ways to afford it. So you get on it. But you will. I hope that you look back and you say, "Wow, I'm really glad I listened to that live stream and I stopped being such a bearish little bitch, and I went and stacked a little more Bitcoin, and I found ways to create value, and I focused on my craft, and I tried to remain hopeful and optimistic and positive, and I rejected defeatism and I rejected defeatists, because we are fucking winning, guys. That's the thing. We are fucking winning. Winning doesn't mean that it feels great all the time. It doesn't mean that there aren't ebbs and flows. But we are winning. We need to remember that, and we need to fucking keep winning. And so, yeah, do whatever you want. But I hope that you remain optimistic, hopeful, and I hope that you keep stacking. I am, and I will, all the way down to 58K if we go there. We'll see. I would relish the opportunity to stack some 58K gang sats. I don't know if I'll get it, but hey, a guy can always dream. But Nathan, what do you want to leave folks with? And I just want to say to you, cheers, man. It's been these have been fantastic, and hopefully we'll be done with them, because Bitcoin's going to start ripping back up, right? Here. And we'll be like, okay, good. We don't have to have any more emergency broadcasts. But what do you want to leave folks with?
Kind of the flip side of that coin is, like, you should never take advice from somebody that you wouldn't trade places with. So don't let people who are nihilistic about the future, who are short-sighted, right, who have no problem being inconsistent, they're completely hypocritical, they're immoral, they lack values, they lack planning, they're not inspirational characters. Don't let them shake you in your confidence in yourself, because ultimately your conviction in Bitcoin comes from your own understanding, your own journey, your own pursuits, your own education. So don't let, in some cases, just like not great people, in some cases bad people, and in some cases straight up evil people, shake your conviction, right? If they do, they win, and that's the point, right? They're trying to dunk on you for their own basically entertainment and to their own gratification, and relishing in you being wrong. Why? Because you were optimistic about the future, that we could actually improve things, that we could change the world, that we could make a meaningful difference, that we don't have to play this stupid fucking game where the UK is blunting knives. I can't get over that. Like, you're right. And when you're right, don't let people convince you that you're wrong. Don't let them gaslight you. Don't let the price even and again, it's 85K. Like, we're still above last cycle's all-time high. It's still $85,000 US for one Bitcoin that started from nothing, that had no monetary value for its first year. Zoom out. You are right. If you're unsure, keep studying. I did see a comment here. Is the government going to confiscate it eventually? No, they can't. Bitcoin held in self-custody cannot be confiscated. If you need to learn more, btcsessions.ca/learn. And the other thing I want to touch on very quickly regarding to orange pilling as it can be very difficult to get outside the echo chamber. And some of the people that I've seen be most successful at that actually had expertise in a different craft, and they brought Bitcoin with them. So Dr. Jack Cruz, neurosurgeon, he's deep into like the health rabbit hole, but he orange pills a ton of people who have never even heard of Bitcoin before. I've listened to some of the conversations, but he has such credibility in that spot that they listen to him, they come on the journey, and they get curious. The same thing with Marco Zelatic from Whiteboard Finance. Amazing finance channel, right? His amazing YouTube finance channel. Dude is a hardcore Bitcoin maxi, and every now and then he drops it into his YouTube finance stuff as well too. So again, if you're thinking about doing a podcast, do it. Head to thebitcoinpodcast.net/gear. But if
Just
you have
bitcoinpodcast.net, just bitcoinpodcast.net/gear.
Thank you.
I didn't. Yeah, we're good.
Thank you for clarifying. We need to make sure that we get it right. If you have another skill set, if you're listening, you have another skill set, something else that's niche outside of Bitcoin that you're really good at, one of the best things you can do is just be the best at that. Bring Bitcoin with you. And because you have authority and you have respect in that field, when you present them with Bitcoin, they'll be opening to listening. And again, no one can confiscate Bitcoin held in self-custody. If it's on the exchange or the custodian, get it the fuck out, especially as we start having issues in the monetary system and the existing economy. The risk of like a 6102 for everything at Coinbase is still in the cards. So learn to take self-custody. Play with it. Move it. Maybe spend it at a local cafe.
Yeah. And now you can spend it at 4 million plus fucking merchants. Well, not all of them have turned
Anywhere
it on
with
yet,
Squirrel.
but, a lot of them are starting to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can buy cool Bitcoin art. You mentioned Madex earlier. You should go check out Madex's stuff. He's at Spacebull on X, and I don't remember exactly what his website is. Something with Madex or Spacebull.
Yep.
But you should absolutely check that out. There's so many great ways to spend Bitcoin. And you can just replace it. And that's the other thing is like when I say like you should be accumulating Bitcoin, I'm not the like when people say like never sell your Bitcoin, I think they also are kind of implying like don't spend it either. But like I think you should spend your Bitcoin when you can, like, because we know you have more fiat and you can just replace it. Because if you didn't have more fiat, like you wouldn't be talking about this in the never sell your Bitcoin in the first place. Like never sell your Bitcoin assumes that you have fiat to spend on things, right?
It means you're
so
short Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
It necessitates.
Exactly. So I know you've got more fiat. Don't be afraid to spend Bitcoin. Spending Bitcoin feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It feels great to use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange. And I highly encourage more people to do it. Every time I do it, it makes me more bullish on Bitcoin because you realize how well this shit works. And every time I send a fucking wire transfer or something, I'm just like, burn this system to the ground. This is garbage.
I agree.
But
I'll give you one more on that note too. One,
please.
It is madex.art. I did just look it up, and he's the one who
Madex.art.
pointed. Yeah, and he's the one who pointed this out to me as well too. When it's spending Bitcoin, particularly with other Bitcoiners, when you spend Bitcoin with somebody, you're giving up the most precious monetary asset that you have. You can think of it as almost like making a capital investment in their business because that's going to continue to grow in purchasing power as well too. So it's almost like a beautiful free market, almost like act of love in the sense that like I'm going to spend my Bitcoin with your business because I value your business so much that I want to stay here and keep going as well. Yeah, no, it's true. And on that note also, thank you for the folks who did zap me on the Nostr live stream. I appreciate you guys very much because you gave me some sats just for chatting. And now Nathan, I'm gonna need to go zap you some of those sats. I should have set up a split on this. I think zap.stream actually does have a way to do that. I need to look at it. But yeah. Stack more Bitcoin, spend more Bitcoin, replace that Bitcoin that you just spent. Hopefully we'll get rid of de minimis tax exemptions, but if you just replace it anyway, there's no need for that as it is. Be hopeful. Remember what you own. Remember how fortunate you are, and not just fortunate, but you've worked hard to be here. You've worked hard. You've read the books. You've listened to 40 hours per week of podcasts, and now you've got a dip opportunity that you probably didn't think you would have. You probably didn't think that we were going to dip back down into 85K. Maybe you did. Maybe you got a crystal ball. I don't know. But you probably didn't. And so if you're feeling a little bit shocked right now, and this is an unpleasant surprise, just flip that script. Make this a pleasant surprise. Make this oh shit, I get to buy cheaper sats than I thought I would ever again. What a treat. What a blessing. And with that, Nathan, maybe we're doing this again tomorrow. I don't know. I hope not.
But that's how we need to. If we're at 58K tomorrow, it's a 24/7 live stream. Yeah. I don't know what we do, but we'll see. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everybody who tuned in and watched this. Go and check out BTC sessions. I'm sure you probably already have, but don't be afraid to send that stuff to your friends and family because it is some of the they have questions, I guarantee BTC Sessions and BTC Mentor have answered it. So please do go check that out, guys, and share this stuff. Like that's how we reach outside the echo chamber in the most direct way, is all of us sharing Bitcoin content with our friends and family, and of course with strangers on the internet. Let's not forget them. Until next time, guys,